Never did I get ahead in life. Stuck on my thoughts and the things that they lead to. Always think of
What is up? I need a sports pod family. The boys are back. You already know what today is. It's hump day. That means it's NFL recap. It's time to lock in these picks for the next week, man. We actually got a decent little slate this week. Last week was kind of low. Um the for the picks, like just strictly game picks, I went 4-0. Cam had a off day only because the Bears choked. He would have went 2-0 if they ain't choked. And then we added some player props later in the week. Player props went south. Like it was just bad. I'm gonna stay away from them this week. We had we agreed on Brady over for his throwing props because he's been throwing the ball 40 times a game. And then of course, out of nowhere, Seattle, who had like I think like the fifth rated DVOA coming into the game, just lets Tampa Bay run all over them, which Tampa Bay hasn't been able to run over anybody all season. But of course, when we make the bet for Brady's attempts, that's the type of shit we get. They even threw a damn trick play to him just to add injury to insult. Like you really got Leonard Fournette throwing it to Tom Brady, your 45-year-old quarterback. That shit was intercepted with ease. But yeah, man, we gonna hop into this recap. We got to get back right this week. Well, it's to be decided if we got a max play. We got a few contenders that we like, so we're gonna talk about it on this pod. Let's get into this week 10 recap. We are now more than halfway done with the season, man. So some of these games we don't even got to talk about. Some of these teams
Yeah.
they just eliminated. Like they just straight up eliminated. They're no playoff contention. That's the Raiders,
Great, is
the
it?
Broncos, the Saints, uh
Texans.
the Texans. Let's see. The Rams are done. Cooper Cup is now on IR. Stafford probably still hurt. They're done. The Packers may have saved their season this past week, which we'll talk about, but I still think they're done regardless. The Colts, who, I mean, I get it. Oh, they got a victory with just Saturday versus the Raiders. They're still done. The Jaguars, they're probably done too after we beat them this week. But yeah, man, let's hop into this recap. We don't have to talk about the Falcons and Panthers. That was a what do you know? The trend continues. Another boring ass Thursday night football game on Amazon Prime. Panthers won 25-15. Everybody was on the Falcons, which of course that just makes sense that the Panthers will win that game.
Yeah.
I think technically they're all still alive in the NFC South still, but with Tampa Bay winning this week, it's kind of like Brady's about to turn that corner and the schedule
Yeah.
kind of weak. And what do you know? He'll probably win the division at like 8-9 or 9-8 and go on a playoff run. Who knows, man? But Seahawks Buccaneers. Let's talk about that game. The game in Germany, first NFL game ever in Germany. The game where we bet Brady's attempts, man. Did you get up early enough to watch it, or you
I
just caught the
was
highlights?
I was watching some of it. Got up early because I had to work on Sunday, but yeah, I got up. I was watching some of it, and then I started watching, and then I heard I seen that trick play to Brady. I was like, that it didn't make sense. It was nowhere near, like he had no chance of making a play on the ball. You got Lenny throwing the ball to him. And then Tyreek Woolen is guarding
Yeah,
Brady. If y'all know who Tyreek Woolen is, this man's a freak of nature, 6'4", with he like 6'3", 6'4", cornerback. He run like a 4.2 from UTSA rookie. He's a dog. So I didn't understand the play call, but yeah, they went with that, and that's kind of threw me off. But man, I was really hoping, he'll hit that prop because
facts. I
he's
thought
been.
I thought it was gonna be a slugfest, honestly.
Yeah, me
You had to
too.
throw the ball, like they've been doing. The
Man.
crazy thing about that trick play is it's so stupid because they ran it like that same drive. I want to say like 3 plays earlier, but Lenny ran it, but nobody went out to cover Tom Brady on that one. That would have been the time to throw it, but it wasn't. Obviously, I just know they're not designing a play call to throw it to Tom Brady at 45 years old. So obviously, that was their best time. If they run that again, the defense is gonna cover it this time because even the commentator said it. I forgot. I think it. I forgot who called that game, but whoever was calling it was like, man, they showed the replay right after play. Nobody even went out to cover Tom Brady. He's wide open. They might revisit that. Of course, they revisited it, but then, like you said, Woolen was completely covering Tom Brady. This man Lenny still threw the ball as if Tom Brady was gonna go get the jump ball. Tom Brady slips as is over his own feet, and then to top it off, he gets that tripping penalty as he rolls over and trips Woolen after he intercepts the pass. But they did all that only for Geno Smith to come right back down the field, get into the red zone at the end of the second half. Desperately needed to score because at this point in time it's 14-3, and he just fumbles on a strip sack and gives the ball right back to Brady and allows them to go into the lead with a pretty decent cushion. They really didn't start playing until the fourth quarter, and by then it was too late. And it's like, oh, here we go. Like a game that could have easily stolen, like really put some pressure on the Bucks. And now it's looking like, yeah, they're gonna get first place in the NFC South because the division is literally the worst in football. And because they're gonna win the division, they're gonna get a home game on top of that. The luckiest man ever, Tom Brady. Like me and Kid were talking about it earlier this week because we were talking about the AFC East is kind of low key stacked this year, and the Bills are now in third place after losing to the Vikings this weekend, and what arguably is probably the game of the year so far. But when Brady was there for 20 years in New England, none of those teams could get it together. The Jets had a few good teams here and there throughout, what was that, like the early 2010s with Mark Sanchez. But other than that, nobody in that division was doing anything, let alone making it to the playoffs. Tom Brady leaves, then they want to get good. The NFC South was actually a decent division, and then Tom Brady comes in, and the NFC South has now went to shit. You can't make this up, man. Wherever he go, it's set up perfectly for him to succeed. You hate to see it. And I'm just gonna laugh when this man Tom Brady gets Daniel Jones as a first round playoff matchup at home, and then that parlays into him probably playing someone like Kirk Cousins, and then he'll probably finish it with like a Jimmy G, man. And that's actually one of the questions I want to ask you. So now the Bucks sit at what? I think it's 5-5, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're currently 5-5. I think this week they get a bye, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they got a bye this week, so they get to rest up a little bit. They come back, they got the Browns, who still won't. Well, Deshaun won't even be back yet, huh?
No,
yeah, they still won't have Deshaun. That's probably a win. They get the Saints, who will always play them tough. But at this point, the Saints look so bad and they're so banged up. Do I think they can win that game? Hell no. They get the 49ers. That should be an L. But they take the L then, and then they see him in the playoffs again. We're going to trust Jimmy G to beat Tom Brady twice in one season? I don't know.
No.
They get the Bengals. That's a toss-up. Who really knows? Both these teams are confusing as hell this year. Cardinals, a dub. Panthers, a dub. In the season with the Falcons, more than likely a dub. So with that being said, at worst, I see them going to in the year 1, 2. At worst, I see them going 5-2, which would put them at 10-7 to end the year, first place in the NFC South. And then at that point, do you think it's possible that the Bucks go on a inevitable Super Bowl run?
Yeah, most definitely. And it's he can't keep getting away with
He
it.
can't keep getting
He
away with it.
can't, man. It's just I don't, man. It's just tough to see. Like you said, watch him get like a Daniel Jones, and then he gets to play Kirk Cousins, and then he'll get to play Jimmy G. And it's like, good God, man, this guy gets lucky every year. But hey, he's a winner, and he's everybody's GOAT. So
Yeah, I mean, he's the main reason they're winning. He just wills everybody to play their best football when it's absolutely needed. That's just how it goes. But yeah, man, Buccaneers get the win. Their playoff hopes are strongly alive. Super Bowl hopes still intact, as we just went through the little rundown of what could potentially happen and what will most likely happen, knowing how this goes. But the next team who might have saved their season, who I was hinting at earlier, Packers Cowboys, man. I had a little dream parlay. It was like plus like 20,000 or some odds. Threw $5 on it to win like 1K. All my picks hit. It was like 9 picks. All of them hit except the Raiders and the Cowboys. I had the Cowboys negative 4.5, which looked great for most part of that game. Up 28-14, and then completely shit down their leg and choked in the most Cowboys fashion way possible. Once again, losing to Aaron Rodgers, further proving that Aaron Rodgers is part-time owner of not only them, but the Chicago Bears too. He's got 2 organizations under his belt. And of course, the next day, all over sports media, all the sports talk shows, the main point was it Dak Prescott's fault? Can Dak Prescott be the QB? And I get it. Dak Prescott had 2 god awful interceptions when they basically could have ended the game early and been up like 21-7, 21-0 if Dak Prescott doesn't throw them interceptions. But at the same time, I'm putting more blame on Kellen Moore. Because why in the world do you go away from what works all the time, especially when you have Dak at QB? Pollard was averaging, I think, 6 yards a rush. The backup running back, who I can't even think of his name right now, but I'm pretty sure it's the first time we've really seen him all season since Zeke is banged up. He was averaging like 4.5 to 5 yards a carry, and they rushed the ball only 6 times in the second half while they were up 14. And of course, if you're going to put that much of the game in Dak's hands, yeah, you're going to lose it because he's not going to be able to do it. And I get it. I know your point. They paid him. He got to be able to. But, like, man, come on. Not only should you run the ball just because it's working, it's also going to bleed the clock. But no, let's have Dak try to, go spread 5 wide receivers out. And, yeah, let's just throw the ball all over the field. Like, that's what we've ever done and been successful with. And Cowboys dropped the game in OT, 31-28. I'm not even mad at Mike McCarthy for going for it on that 4th down in overtime. But he came out in the post-game press conference and was basically like, he knew from the jump he was going to go for it. And if you're going to go for it on 3rd and 4, run the fucking football. Because then at least you might have a chance that it's 4th and inches or something. Or you might pick up the 1st down because you averaging 6 yards a carry. Who knows? But no, instead, 2 downs, put it in Dak's hands. The 4th one, he got pressured. And he tried to get a throw out, but it was nowhere near close to being completed. And then, of course, 2 plays later, Aaron Rodgers throws a slant to Allen Lazard, who takes it down the field for like 40, puts him right in field goal range, and Crosby games it. And now the Packers are sitting at 4-6, and technically their playoff hopes are still alive. So, 2 questions. Do you think they really have a chance of making the playoffs still, and how you see that playing out? We can pull up the schedule to answer that. And 2, how much blame are you putting on Dak Prescott for losing that game?
All right, I'm gonna answer the Dak one first. How much blame would I put on Dak? I wouldn't put too much. I know, surprising, but I want to put too much blame on Dak because I feel like it really wasn't his fault. Both of those picks, because both of those picks, I think the first one, Dallas Schultz was supposed to do something for
He's
CD,
supposed to flatten out and
and he ran the wrong route. And I think the second one, someone ran the wrong route.
CD.
Yeah, CD ran the wrong route. So, I mean, yeah, you can easily say, Dak, if he sees that, well, it's hard for him to see that, but if he sees that, he shouldn't throw the ball. But I can't put that blame on him because his receivers run the wrong routes or doing the wrong thing. But also, like you were saying, they can't go away from what's working. Like you're saying, the run game is working. You stick with that. You go with that. I mean, Tony Pollard, since Zeke been out, this man has been a dog. So I don't understand why they just going away from him. But like I said though earlier, man, earlier in the other podcast episodes, ah, they paying Dak all this money. He gonna have to he gonna have to throw 40 times a game. I'm sorry. He gonna have to throw 40 times a game. And this is what we see him when he throws 40 times a game. It just is what it is. I know I'm definitely with you. They definitely should run the ball, but they paying him to throw the ball 40 times a game. I mean, he's gonna have to just suck it up and do it. But yeah, that's that on that. That's how I feel about on that. And with Green Bay, I don't know. That's because all right, let's look at the schedule. They got the Titans at home. I mean, that's a toss up, I feel like.
I think that's gonna be a dogfight tomorrow. That's tomorrow night, Thursday night football. Short week after. I mean, they had to come back. That was a lot of energy they expended. Titans actually have a really good run defense, and I think they'll be able to get some pressure. I'm still not so like Christian Watson had basically his coming out game, but this is what they've been waiting for all season. And that, like, literally, the Packers had a good game for the first time this whole season. But for the rest of the season, that is not who they've been. So I'm not a believer in like what we saw Sunday versus the Cowboys is what we're going to see from them for the rest of the season. They're going to have to prove me wrong. I think it's going to be a dogfight with Tennessee. They might be able to squeeze out a win, but I could also see them getting upset still because I'm still not a believer in them. And
it's one of the games I bet on.
oh, okay. Look, I bet on this game too. So, but yeah, man, they 4-6. They're unless the Minnesota Vikings have literally the most epic meltdown of all meltdowns to end the season. There's no way they're getting first place in their division because Minnesota sits at 8-1 now. They're gonna have to get in a wild card spot, and because of their record, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be fighting for that last 7th seed. 4-6. They got the Titans this week. I'll give. Let's say they beat the Titans at home. They 3-point favorites. Let's say they win it. Then they got the Eagles in Philly. Yes, I know Philly looked pretty bad versus Washington Monday night. Took their first L, but that was really self-inflicted. They had too many turnovers, and it was just bad turnovers. Like the Quez Watkins turnover. If he just holds on to the ball right there and stays on the ground after he catches it for like 50 yards on the post route, the Eagles probably win that game because they're gonna score. But he fumbles. I think it was somebody else fumbled to the drive before that. Like it was Goddard, even though he got face mask, but the refs didn't call it, and you can't go back and change that. He fumbles when they're driving. So yeah, the Eagles lost, but they're still a pretty good football team, and that defense is still pretty solid. I think they'll lose that game. That puts them at 5-7. Now you're really like, which is why I'm mad the Cowboys choked. Because if the Packers would have lost that and they're staring at 3-7 instead of 4-6, their season is 95% over. Now it's like 60-40, like 60 being it's over, 40 they got a chance. Next, they got the Bears. The Bears have been playing great, but I mean, like I said earlier, Aaron Rodgers damn near owns that franchise, so they'll probably win that one. That'll put them at what, 6-7 or 6-8? No, 6-7. I had it right. 6-7. Then they get the Rams. The Rams season is over with. All them players probably gonna retire after this year, including McVay.
Probably
I mean,
so.
they got the championship, like we say on yesterday's podcast. They sold, but they got the championship. So yeah, you can be mad and frustrated about it, but at the same time, they got what they wanted, what every team wants. Like, let's keep it a buck. Even if you know you suck, at the end of the day, you're trying to win a Super Bowl. So they got that. Then they go to the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins can beat them. Then they got the Vikings at home. That's going to be a toss-up game, but I think the Vikings can win that. And then they got the Lions in the season who they can definitely beat, but the Lions always play them tough for the past like 3-4 years. They might lose it at the end, but they're going to give them a battle during the game. So with that, that's their last, 6 games? And I feel like they probably split it, go 3-3. At 7-10, they out the playoffs. So they're literally gonna have to go on a Cinderella run. They probably realistically can't lose any more games to in this season. But they
In the
do have
NFC? You think
yeah,
so?
because the NFC East is so the NFC East teams got such good records. I guess the only thing that would help them now is if the Cowboys somehow melted down, which I don't think they will, then they have the tiebreaker over them type
That's
shit. But
true.
they don't have the tiebreaker over New York because they lost to
Yeah.
the Giants.
Cause
So
I forgot about the Giants.
yeah,
They like 7-2, huh?
yeah, and they beat Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay.
And even though
Okay.
they've had a soft schedule, they're still winning, so they're up there. Like I
Yeah.
said, the Vikings 8-1, the Eagles 8-1. That's 3 spots right there.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm assuming the Cowboys going to continue to do what they're doing. They're going to be in. That's 4. The Bucks probably going to win that division 5. 49ers 6.
6.
And then yeah, they're going to be fighting for that 7th spot. And
They shouldn't get it because that spot would be the Giants, huh?
yeah, I'm about to look it up just so I can be certain what we're saying. Yeah, and also I mean, I don't think Washington can hold up, but Washington is ahead of them too, and they also have a tiebreaker over them because they beat them as well. So it. Oh, and I didn't even we forgot Seattle right there too at 6-4
Seattle.
now. They might not end up winning the division. It's going to depend on if they can beat the 49ers. But I think they can win enough games to where they still make the playoffs too. This week, they're on a bye, but then they come back. They got the Raiders. That's a very winnable game at home. The Rams, very winnable game since the Rams team has gone to shit. Panthers, a winnable game. 49ers, at that point, if they can go 3-0 and go into the 49ers game at 9-4, yes, they still would want to win that so they could get first place in the division. But even if they lost, that would only bump them to 9-5. Then they got us in Kansas City. They'll probably make it tough, but I think we'll win that 9-6. At the Jets at home for them, I think that's a dub. Rams at home for them, I think that's a dub. If they don't have more than 6 losses, they're gonna be over the Packers too.
Yeah.
So it's like the Packers put themselves in a deep hole, and they would have been completely buried if Kellen Moore just would have ran the football. And even if he gonna call pass plays, don't call pass plays for Dak out the fucking spread. Run play action. Like he's great alpha play action.
Yeah.
And if you're running the ball that great, the defense is gonna have to respect the handoff, and it's gonna bring everybody down in the box. And then you can hit a CD or Schultz across the middle or something. But no, up 14 because you were talking about his interceptions. Yeah, they weren't his fault, but on top of that, both those interceptions came early in the first half, and then they went up by 14 after that. And after seeing those 2 interceptions, you want to continue to throw the football.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And I think that last touchdown throw, the CD when they got 28, I think that was the fool's goal that made Kellen Moore go, oh, you know what? Let's keep calling pass plays because Dak threw a nice, like, 35-yard pass for that touchdown. But, yeah, Packers still alive technically, but going through that, I don't think they make it. I think it's really only once, like, between them and the Bucks, only one of them can make it, and the Bucks will make it by default because they'll win their division because their division sucks. So it's just kind of the way, the cookie crumbles for the Packers. Put themselves in too deep of a hole, and the fact the Vikings are balling out right now, it's going to be tough for them to cover ground in that one, man. But another headline, man. Let's talk about arguably, I mean, not arguably, it was the greatest game of the year so far of this 2022-23 NFL season. And it might have produced the greatest catch given the circumstances of all time, or at least top 3, I would say. Vikings versus Bills, man. What I tell what I say, man. Whenever teams beat the Chiefs, it's like a Super Bowl, and then they get so hyped off that win, they forget, oh, we got more football to play, and they completely fall off the wagon. The Bills have now failed to score a touchdown in the second half of the last 3 games they played versus the Packers, the Jets, and now the Vikings. And they still should have won the game versus Minnesota this weekend. Minnesota, like people are giving Kirk Cousins a bunch of credit, like, oh, he's got this many game-winning drives now, yada yada yada. Kirk Cousins really choked himself. Josh Allen just out choked him because Kirk Cousins drives at the end of the game. Luckily, he gets that lucky catch by Justin Jefferson, who's, I mean, is he? I'll stop here before I continue. Is Justin Jefferson the best wide receiver in the league right now?
Yes, hands down.
So he's better than Reek.
Ooh,
Yeah, see, it's
I
tough.
think so. I think so. I still think so.
Okay, I'm not mad at. I know you can make an argument both ways because Reek definitely doing the same, but he also had his worst week this week too. But they blew out the Browns, so he wasn't really needed. But yeah, he throws that pass on 4th and 18. Justin Jefferson catches it. Defender really could have just knocked the ball down, but he kind of helped Jefferson catch it. But still, amazing catch nonetheless to snag that 4th and 18. Literally, the game is on the line. He catches it. They go down the field. They get all the way to the 1. They don't get it on 4th and goal, QB sneak with Kirk Cousins. They give the ball back to the Bills. Game should be over. But then Josh Allen fumbles the snap. In only the most Josh Allen way possible. Like I told y'all, it's a roller coaster with him. His highs are really good, and then his lows is like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
So he fumbles the ball. Kendricks recovers it in the end zone. Now the Vikings are winning somehow when they should have been lost the game. But they left Allen. It was a joke. Josh Allen left too much time for Josh Allen because he fumbled with like a minute left. So of course he drives down the field, gets them in field goal range, kick a field goal to send to OT, and then in OT, Kirk Cousins gets the ball first, drives right back into the red zone, and fails to get a touchdown again. So they settle for the field goal. Now it's on Josh Allen, and he throws that ball to Gabe Davis, which really wasn't a catch, and that's on the refs because they're supposed to review under 2 minutes, and they didn't. Or I guess that was the drive to go tie it to send to overtime. Yeah, they should have never got that opportunity. But then driving in overtime, Josh Allen, he's going to have to learn how to take the checkdowns. And I kind of hinted at it way back on like one of our first podcast episodes. How much did Brian Daboll play a part in being like of Josh Allen's success? And as you see, Daboll's arguably one of the leaders for coach of the year right now, the way he's got the Giants playing.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Josh Allen going through this turnover slump. And it's like Daboll kind of, when Daboll got there, he kind of changed Allen's mechanics, all that, and got him to be more consistent. And now he's kind of gone back to his old self. And he throws a game-clinching interception to Pat P for his second INT of the day. And now, before you know it, the Bills, who, after they beat the Chiefs, Bills fans were all up and down Twitter saying, oh, Allen the best quarterback. He's MVP sold up. Bills going to the Super Bowl. We got the first seed locked up. Y'all going to have to come to Buffalo. And now they're third place in their own division. And the Patriots are only one game behind them. And they still got to play the Patriots twice. Bill Belichick probably good for one win, at least, in that series. So now, what's your faith like in the Bills and how their season plays out rest of the way?
I still think they'll be okay. They'll definitely still make the playoffs.
Well, if they don't.
Yeah, if they don't, that'll be because it's definitely a possibility of them not making it. Like it's definitely a real possibility. But I still think they do make it. They won't get a home game though. Because I don't see the Dolphins stopping anytime soon. I don't see them stopping anytime soon or slowing down anytime soon. Them guys are balling out right now. And honestly, I mean, okay, this also I know you're supposed to be talking about the Bills, but honestly, that's probably the best thing ever for the Dolphins. If they can win a division, whatever.
They just gotta win in Buffalo if they can keep it up, because they got the tiebreaker over them right now, which is why they're first in the division. So
yeah, most definitely. So it's like, because imagine if Buffalo, they do win that division, whatever. Imagine Tua playing in the cold. Tua don't want that problem. he don't want to. He don't want to play He should not want to play in the cold at all. So hopefully they win that division. Everything come through Miami. So yeah, hopefully they win the division, but I don't know. I think the Bills will be okay, but time will tell. So
Yeah, no, and because since they aren't first place in the division, they're automatically stuck to they can't even be in the fifth spot right now because the Jets are also 6-3 and they beat them, so they have tiebreaker. That's also the thing that if there was a way for the Bills to somehow miraculously miss the playoffs, it's because they haven't won a division game either. They lost to the Jets and the Dolphins. Haven't played the Patriots yet, but they're 0-2 in the division. So they're gonna have to win out in the division. That also would kind of factor in that the Jets have to keep it up, and I don't think the Jets are necessarily going to keep it up, which I'll discuss later. But they're in sixth place at 6-3. They have the tiebreaker over Tennessee, but they would have to get back to first in the division to even be jumped over Tennessee because top four seeds automatically are the division winners. So Baltimore is in fourth, Tennessee in third. They're both at 6-3. Miami at 7-3. Kansas City at the top. Somehow, some way, 7-2. The season where no Reek, Mahomes supposed to fall off. The Chiefs might not even make the playoffs. They're not going to win the division. Somehow, some way, 10 games into the season, they're first place in the division, first place in the AFC, and we really have an opportunity this week to literally win the division in week 11 because we'll have both games on the Chargers, and that'll put the Chargers at 5-5, meaning we would literally have to lose 4 games to end the season, and the Chargers would have to win out for them to even get first place back. Which this is going to be a tough ass game. We're 7-point favorites. I don't know why, because the Chargers at home and they literally always play us close. But yeah, I'm not saying the Bills are out, but they definitely put themselves in a pretty bad hole. They could get out of it for sure, but it's not going to be easy. Luckily, they will they will get to play Miami at home, and it's probably going to be really cold. And Miami hasn't been good in Buffalo the last couple years. I don't know. It might be different with Tua and Tyreek and them boys this year. Who knows? But like this game this week, they got the Browns, and there's projected to be 30 inches of snow. If they can get Miami in a game like that's a game Miami does not want in the playoffs. So that's why they need to, stay up so they can get first in the division and have home field advantage, at least in the second place spot, if not first place, if the Chiefs end up dropping another game. But yeah, on the flip side, Minnesota. You think Minnesota for real, or are you finally buying in? Or I'm not buying it either. I'm just like,
okay. I thought you were.
but some people have been buying in all week on the sports talk shows. I'm like, man, come.
Look,
Are we really gonna sit up here and say Kirk Cousins won this game?
Bro,
Like that's what we're about to do?
That's what I'm just trying to tell people. Like, bro, come on, really? That Justin Jefferson catch that should have been an interception. Justin Jefferson literally saved that man. He saved that man a couple of times.
Yes.
So I mean, hey, whatever. We'll see once playoffs comes. We'll see what Kirk Cousins is made of. I'm not gonna hate him right now. He's having a phenomenal year. The Vikings having a phenomenal year. I mean, these guys are balling out. So we'll see playoffs time now. We'll see.
Yeah. And I guess the arguing point is, Kirk Cousins 5-game winning drives this year, but in the same sense, if you're gonna use that to boost, the Vikings have now won, I think, their last 6 games, maybe 7, all by 1 possession or less. So yeah, they're winning close game, but if you're gonna be in close games, damn near every game, eventually you're gonna drop some. And if you want to ride that slippery slope in the playoffs, I haven't seen Kirk Cousins do that in the playoffs. And playoffs are gonna be a close game. So yeah, it'll be like, well, they got experience winning close games, but it's just like you're gonna use up all your luck winning these close games in the regular season. Come playoff time, then you drop the close game because you done won too many in the regular season. But yeah, I mean, give them their props. They fought hard to come back because the Bills were up by like I think 10 going into the fourth. But at the same time, they shouldn't have won that game. especially when they had 2 red zone failures to end the game, and the Bills just handed them back. Josh Allen handed them the game back both times. So it is what it is. But now, Vikings, they're a half game back in first place in the NFC because the Eagles whooped them. So as long as the Eagles can, not lose anymore, they will still they control their own destiny of getting first place in the NFC still. Let's look at their remaining schedules because I know Philly's this week. I'm looking at Minnesota's first. Oh yeah, Minnesota got Dallas this week. We'll just talk about that later when we get to the picks. They got Patriots next at home. I think they should win that game, but Bill Belichick could, have something up his sleeve for Kirk Cousins. But I'm gonna give them that win. Jets at home, that's a win, I think. You got the Lions in Detroit, divisional game. It's gonna be a tough one. They should be able to pull it out, but division, so who knows? Colts at home after that. Giants at home, at the Packers, and then at the Bears to end the season. So, yes, they're winning right now, but I could easily see them dropping at least 3 more games to end this year with that schedule. And it's really that I'm pretty sure that second to last week when they get the Packers in Green Bay, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have the opportunity to put the final coffin in the Packers tombstone, or coffin, the final nail in their coffin. They better do it. But if they don't, it's not a primetime game, so Kirk Cousins got a chance. That's gonna be the big prove it game for me. On the other side, the Eagles, they get the Colts this week. Then they got the Packers at home. I think that's one win. Titans at home after that. I think that's gonna be a tough game, but I think they can win that one as well. Then they got to go to New York. That's gonna be a big game because that's probably gonna be for first place in the division if the Giants keep winning. Then they got at the Bears, at the Cowboys, Christmas Eve. That's gonna be a good one. That might decide if Dallas is fighting for that one of them last wild card spots, or if they're comfortably in. Saints after that, and then they end with the Giants again. So I think the Eagles will probably drop maybe 2 games more, but I still got them finishing first in the NFC at like 14-3. You think they still able to do that, or how you think the rest of their season fares?
I think they can. I think they definitely still get first place in that division. I could definitely see around like you were saying 14-3. So they still a very good football team. I've been hearing AJ Brown's kind of banged up right now, and that injury might linger. So I don't know. But yeah, they still a good football team. That run D gonna have to tighten up just a tad bit. That's a little bit of a worry for sure. But the brush just lost off, and they should they should start winning soon. Get back to winning.
Yeah, no. I think they bounce back this week, but like I said, we'll get to the picks later. Let's see. My Chiefs. We probably ended the Jags season if there was any hope that they could come back. The Jags really just shot themselves in the foot. It's kind of weird because the Chiefs are now, I think we're 26th or 27th in the league in turnover differential at -4, meaning we've turned the ball over 4 more times than we've gotten turnovers, which isn't good. But somehow, some way, we're still finding ways to win. We had 2, really to end the half, we're up 20-0. Then our defense miraculously lets Jacksonville score with 35 seconds when there was only 46 seconds on the clock. Then on the kickoff, they kick it a squib short. Jody Forster catches it, fumbles, and so the Jazz can cut it to 10, but Lambeau missed the field goal. That was his second missed field goal of the game already. So then we still go into the half up 13. Then we're driving to ice the game later in the game when it's 27-17. Mahomes throws a terrible pick, and then they still didn't capitalize. But Mahomes threw for 4 touchdowns. Unfortunately, Juju got knocked out. And what should have been a personal foul hit to the head. They threw the flag and then they take it back. But literally, Juju got knocked out cold like Tua, like his body locked up and everything. And I'm just like, if we're gonna like after the Tua injury, the league started, calling a whole bunch of stuff and saying we're pro protecting the players and head injuries. If you're gonna be like that, how can you not call that?
Yeah.
And really, maybe even eject him out the game because it was a defenseless receiver, and like I said, Juju was literally knocked out cold. But no, the refs pull the flag. Next possession, Cisco does it again to MVS. Luckily, MVS came back from concussion protocol. He had to go to the blue tent. But other than that, man, Chiefs keep rolling. That boy Kadarius Toney is completely healthy. Hamstring looks amazing as he hopped into the end zone for his first touchdown. I didn't even realize that's the first touchdown he ever scored in the NFL. And it's just like, yeah, the Giants are having a good season this season, but it's like, how do y'all let another wide receiver, like a wide receiver with some immense talent, how do y'all let that go to waste again? Like, what was really going on in that locker room? I know Tony was a pick from Joe Judge during his tenure, but still, man, that's a lot of talent that they can really use because they have no receivers. And that's why I think they'll flame out because Saquon can't carry them that far, I think. But that's who they're relying on right now. But they definitely could have used Tony. But as I figured, he would be healthy. Andy Reid definitely gonna dial some plays up for him. He had another highlight play where fade route on the sideline, two defenders. He literally adjusts his gloves mid route,
Yeah.
then continues on to go moss both of them and toe tap inbounds and catch the ball. Athleticism off the charts. I'm excited because we didn't even have McCole Hardman who was hurt. I don't know if we're getting him back this week. But when we can get both of them on the field, I can only imagine the type of gadget plays Andy about to draw up. But it's going to be scary. Defenses ain't going to know what to game plan for. Brett Beach might have stolen another one by getting him. And somehow, some way, I kind of just want him to decide at this point. And I think it might be the Cowboys, which sucks because I don't want to see that happen. But we're still in the running for Odell. I just want Odell to pick a team so it can all be over with. But who knows, man? Well, yeah, Chiefs 7-2, sole possession of first place in the AFC now. Mahomes is now the MVP favorite, strengthened his lead on touchdowns and yardage among QBs in the league. He also broke Dan Marino's record for most touchdown passes through their first 75 games. This past weekend was his 72nd game, so he's got 3 more games to put a nice little padding on that record. Yeah, man, it ain't too much else to say.
Yeah.
Dude is just amazing. At this point, you're a hater if you say anything else. They look primed for another Super Bowl run. Like they need a second one to solidify it. And I think, like your Astros just did to solidify it and shut the haters up. I think we can get us one. The defense is looking real solid. Chris Jones is a dark horse defensive player of the year. He's the number 1 rated defensive player according to PFF. He's been causing a lot of havoc the last couple games, shutting down the run, getting to the QB. I don't know, man. It's just if this team can stay relatively healthy, it's gonna be scary come playoff time. There's a few matchups that would worry me, but at the end of the day, Mahomes, he hasn't not made the AFC Championship game. So, and if we can get a bye and still up first place, I feel real good about it. But how you feel about the Chiefs now? What you think? How you think the rest of our season plays out? Because we had the toughest schedule to start off. Our first 8 games were all against teams who had a winning record the year before. I didn't think we would come out of that 6-2, but we came out of that 6-2, and then this week we beat the Jags and moved to 7-2, and now we have the 31st ranked schedule to end the year. And what I thought would maybe be a tough game versus the Rams, they don't look good anymore. Obviously, this weekend is going to be a tough ass game with the Chargers, of course, divisional opponent in LA. Then I think we got to go to Cincy in like 3 weeks. That's the other tough ass game left. But other than that, we got the Broncos twice, the Seahawks at home, and the Raiders in Vegas. So at worst, I think we go 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would really just be, I think Buffalo going to drop some more games. It really be Miami. And depending on what Miami does, if we can still hold first place if we do drop those 2 games. But how you think my boys fare out for the rest of the season, man?
I know I've been saying Eagles best team. It's the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs. They just better than everybody. You can. I mean, it's clear. It's clear they got the best quarterback in the world. They got a great offense. I mean, like what more can you say about these guys? Like these guys are just fucking amazing, bro. Like they're so fun to watch because Pat go get at least 3 or 4 touchdowns every game. So it's just so amazing to watch and just so crazy to see all these analysts like just hating on this guy, hating on this team for whatever reason. But I think y'all it's gonna be hard to beat y'all. So I think y'all either win out or maybe lose one more game, like a game that y'all shouldn't lose.
Yeah, bro, and I'm praying to God it's not versus y'all because I'm going to that game too. But I can just easily see if we on a winning streak up until that point, and we come into Houston like,
Watch.
oh, this is an easy ass
Easy ass
game,
game.
and then Damian Pierce runs all over us. Davis Mills gets like 2 touchdowns and 300 yards passing, something crazy, and next thing you know, it's like the Chiefs dropped one they shouldn't have,
Shouldn't
but
have
they
y'all.
did because they was focused on something else. But yeah, man, the crazy thing you said, the 4 touchdown passes, Mahomes now has 22% of his games he's thrown for 4 or more touchdowns.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's best in NFL history. He's now thrown a touchdown to 10 different receivers this year. Tony got his first. Noah Gray also got his first this week. Oh, MVS too. That's 3 players in one game who got their first touchdown reception on the season. And Tony in his career. Then to seal the game, throws it to Travis, his go-to. As is, I think Travis Kelce now leads the league again in touchdowns. He was tied at 7. Now he leads with 8 touchdown receptions. And it's like, I don't know what more y'all want. Like now people are starting to, like, the analysts who were saying he was done, now they're back on his bandwagon. And it's like, man, move around, because y'all was saying
Yeah.
some wild ass shit start of the year and completely disrespecting this man. Like you didn't know there was a 90% chance this shit doing right now is what was gonna happen. And then now they're even trying. I've seen people try to make the argument again. Well, he's got some great weapons. Do not
No, no,
give
no,
me
no,
that
no, no,
bullshit, man.
no.
When we came in the season, they didn't even have the Chiefs wide receiving corps ranked 15th. They were like 18th, which means they're in the bottom half of the league. And now y'all gonna sit up here and try to say, "Oh no, that team, they got great talent around Mahomes." Like, no,
No, no.
he is that quarterback. You can plug in and put anybody there at this point. He's throwing the ball to damn Justin Watson.
But and I told you. This is the best version we gonna see of
See
Patrick
him.
Mahomes. This is the best version you will ever see of Patrick Mahomes, bro. I'm telling you, like
That's the scary part.
this is scary.
He really gonna get better.
Yeah, he gonna get better. It's like this is only his 6 year, 7th year, not
6th year,
even.
but 5th playing because he sat that first one. And that's the other thing. A lot of these analysts will try to bring up these stats of, like, to boost up like a Herbert or Allen, like, oh, they're the first player to do this through their first 5 years. And it's like, y'all really counting Mahomes' 6th year, his first year, the one he didn't play except for the last game because we rested our starters. But Mahomes' stats are all still right there, but he's played one less full season. Like, come on. And now, like I said, he leads the league with 25 touchdown passes. Leads the league with like 2,936 yards, I think. Come on. It don't matter. It don't matter.
No matter who's on the field.
He gonna find them. The offensive line played pretty good this weekend, kept him upright. As long as they can keep him upright and you give him time in the pocket, it's gonna be scary because he gonna fight, like, Tony Romo commentated the game this week, and he was just saying, like, Mahomes is the type of quarterback now. It's to the point where, yeah, there's gonna be games where he might get slowed down, but you just know eventually it's gonna be one drive where it all clicks again, and he's gonna figure it out before the game is over with. And then you gotta hope and pray that you can hold on, or you built the lead strong enough to hold on and can pull out the win. But he's gonna figure it out sometime within the game, and that's really what it is to this point. And now, like I said, he's the MVP leader. I hope. I mean, I'm gonna have to if we could just knock on wood, he can win MVP and then go on and make a Super Bowl run. I could go pull them clips from the first episode recorded where I told y'all lock in them preseason bets for Chiefs Super Bowl and Mahomes MVP, because after all the narratives that came out this offseason, I knew he was going to perform like this. And I was like, how are you not going to be able to give him MVP? And, people were still not trying to put him first. Like, oh, well, Jalen Hurts, the Eagles might go undefeated. And although it wasn't Jalen Hurts' fault whatsoever, they lost. They're no longer undefeated. So now you can't use that argument.
Yeah.
And another argument, they would be like, well, Jalen Hurts undefeated, and they don't have a bad loss. The Chiefs lost to the Colts. Well, the Eagles just lost to the Washington Commanders.
That's
So
bad loss.
Bad loss. So, yeah, man. Literally, we control our own destiny. Mahomes controls his own MVP destiny. And this offense still isn't even at full strength yet. Tony might not even be comfortable for real for another couple weeks, but he's already looking good.
Shit, I'm betting his prop this week. I think Nicole MVS might be out, but I think Juju gonna be out too.
Yeah, the way Juju locked up, I don't think he can play because of
one out of three of those guys gonna play though. I think it's gonna be MVS, but I think Nicole and Juju gonna sit out.
Yeah,
so
I'm not mad at. Get rest. We're gonna need them to be healthy because that's gonna be even scary when you don't have a lot of film on the offense full strength. Now you don't know what Andy's drawing up. But yeah, man, that wraps up basically all we want to talk on or touch on for week 10. Sure. But now let's get into these picks for week 11. I think we got a good number of picks, man. So I'm excited to talk about it. Like I said, just to give y'all a recap again, I got my notes pulled up here. Cam had Miami -3.5, which cash with ease. They whooped the Browns. Got a unit there. Then he had Bears -3. And last episode, if y'all remember, he was saying he's like his gut was just leaning Bears, so he just threw half a unit on it. But the Bears choked at the end, lost to the Lions. So he went 1-1 in the plays. Me, I had Titans -3, Titans Broncos under 39.5, both those cash. Lions Bears over 48. I was cheering for points in that game, and I was hoping the Bears would pull it out at the end. But they went on a scoring frenzy in that second half. Justin Fields is him. I don't care what anybody says. If they can just get some talent around that guy, Chicago got a chance to be special.
Crazy.
And then 49ers Chiefs, MLP, cash. And then I told y'all on the last week's NFL episode, I like Cam's Miami pick, but I was going to stay away from the spread. So I just threw Miami, the Chiefs, 49ers in the parlay. I threw Miami and the Chiefs in the parlay. I threw Miami and San Francisco. So all four of those hit all at once. I told y'all quadruple down, triple down, whatever you felt like. But I knew them three teams had a great chance of winning this weekend. But then while all the plays were pretty decent, then our props just completely shit the bed. Like we said, we both had Brady over 4.5 pass attempts. I had Mahomes over 2.5 passing TDs. He hit it, but it was kind of like a happy, sad hit because I bet that prop last week versus Tennessee and I max bet it and he didn't hit. Oof. And some told me I should have doubled down and max bet again this week. But I just threw a unit to be safe. And of course, he cashed it in the first half, I think, or the start. Yeah, the first half. He literally cashed it in the first half. Then McCaffrey over 82.5 yards for me. Did not hit. They actually were, which is actually smart because they're going to need McCaffrey as the season goes on, and you don't want to burn him up because he does have an injury history. They actually got Elijah Mitchell back. San Francisco did, and they were running them both. And Elijah Mitchell actually ended up going for over 80 plus. So that missed. Then I sprinkled on Hill and Waddle in a parlay with their yards as well. And of course, this is the 1 week where Hill and Waddle choose to not go off. And Miami finds the running game. So I went 1-4 on the prop side. I really 1-5 with the Brady one. And then Cam Barkley over 96.5 rush yards. I guess if it's a good running back going against the Texans, just always bet the rushing prop.
Just bet it.
Yeah, it's a great chance to cash it. So he cashed there. And then Olave over 62.5 yards. I don't know what the fuck's going on in New Orleans, but
I feel bad for him, man.
yeah, it's terrible. And they don't have a first round pick either this year because they traded that for Olave last year. So
Just put in Jameis Winston, man. Get any Dalton out of there, man. We don't want to see no Katy Tigers.
yeah, I'll be forgetting he did. K Tiger and TCU alum who looking like they might make the college playoff this year.
Shit, crazy.
But yeah, man, that's how our week went. So the overall at the end of that, I was 7-5 plus 3.34 units. Cam was 2-3 minus 0.76 units. But if the Bears literally just win by 3, he would have been positive for the week. But like I said, a couple bad beats. I'm gonna stay away from the props this week. Just stick with the plays because my plays have been actually pretty decent. Knock on wood, don't want to jinx nothing, but I don't know if Ken, you gonna stay away from the player props too this week, just roll with the plays, or how you feeling?
Man, I want to touch up on Tony's. I don't know what it's gonna. I haven't really looked at it, but I want to touch up on Tony's receiving yards. I think he'll hit it, but I might cool off on everything. I might just do regular plays.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it pains me to do it because I want to bet Chargers +7, but I'm gonna stay away. But also, if y'all want to sprinkle on a prop, you might want to bet Kelsey's under this week
Damn.
because
Oh, Darren James.
Derwin James, that is literally the only player in the league
Kryptonite.
that is Kelsey's kryptonite. He locks him up. He was locking him up last year in LA, and then he got hurt, and that's when Kelsey went off and won us the game in OT. But I don't know what it's going to be set at, but if it's like at a high 70s, 80s, I might bet is under because Mahomes gonna have to look elsewhere if Derwin James is healthy and out on that field covering Kelsey all night.
Yeah.
But that being said, man, let's get into these picks. What's your first pick looking like, man?
My first pick of week 11? Yeah, week 11. I'm going back to that bad man. Going back to that bad. He's a bad man. Play some more versus Ashton Titans. I know you probably watching this, Ashton. I'm sorry. so sorry, but he's a bad man. I think they might have a little. I think that Dallas game, might give him a little spark. So I'm gonna take Green Bay -3, man. I think they should hit that. Let's see what happened, man.
Okay. I'm not mad at that one. I'm betting on that game too. But I'm not betting winner. I'm going with the under, man.
Okay.
Under 41.5 and -120 odds. Yeah, the Packers might have found a little bit of a groove, but that Tennessee defense is tough.
Mm-hmm.
And on the flip side, Tennessee's offense, unless Derrick Henry is just really doing his thing, they're also kind of, sluggish. But this past weekend, Derrick Henry actually got shut down by Denver by his standards. And Tannehill threw 2 touchdowns to Westbrook Akine, I think his name is, which that was like their first wide receiver touchdowns of the year, I want to say. But under 41.5, I think the Packers might pull it out, but I think it's going to be a dogfight, a defensive battle all game. And I'm still not a believer in the Packers. Even if the Packers get 20, I feel like the Titans will get 17 then, or vice versa. Like I think it's going to be like a 2017 game. I don't know who wins that, but I think that's what the final score would kind of end up being. And that would beat the under 41.5. So that's what I'm going to roll with. 1 unit on Packers under 41.5, man.
I like that. Definitely see that happening. Man, all right, man. My second pick. Going with the Patriots again. The Patriots -3 over the Jets.
That's one of my picks too. That's what I was gonna.
Okay.
Zach Wilson versus Bill Belichick. I gotta
like you
fade
said,
it every time.
Gotta fade it every time. Bill Belichick is about to kill his man once again. I don't see them running. They don't got Brees Hall, so they can't run on these guys. So I mean, Bill gonna be ready. Let's
Yeah,
go
he
say
gonna
that
be ready.
It's a home game. Bill gonna be ready.
We just gotta pray and hope Mac Jones don't try to give them the game like he did a couple weeks ago when they played. But at home, like you said, I'm still not sold on the Jets, even though they did just beat the Bills last week, and they got a dub this week too, didn't they? Or did they play? Or am I tripping? I know they're 6-3, but
I don't think they did play someone this week. No, they didn't.
yeah, they had a bye this week.
Bye week, yeah.
Yeah, so they coming off the bye. Bill Belichick versus Bill Belichick. Gonna be tough at Gillette Stadium. Can even buy down half a point, take it to 2.5. But I think the odds are kind of crazy when you go to 2.5 right now. It's like negative 140. But you can still do it if you want. This has the potential. It might want to be a max bet, maybe a 3-unit bet. I just threw a unit on it for now. But we can go through the rest of the picks and come back to it. But I throw it out there on the table for now. That might be a max bet since we agree on that one right off the bat. But yeah, man, Bill Belichick versus a young quarterback. You have to fade it every time just because he always roughs him up and throws so many different looks at him, especially Zach Wilson. You know he's good to make a mistake or two that could be game enders. So
yeah,
definitely got to roll with that. I'm not mad at that one. Definitely got that locked in too, man. Another one I think we both agreed on, and it's because you sent me the tweet, and I don't think anybody else can lock this one in that what we locked it in at, but through 0.75 units on Bills, Browns under 43.5 and negative 115 odds because they're supposed to get about 30 inches of snow, if not more. So that's going to be, they're going to have to run the football in that game. I think they said like 20 to 30 mile per hour winds on top of that. So it's going to be a running football game. And honestly, if it's a running football game and Nick Chubb is on the other sideline, the Bills might be in another dogfight and might drop their third game in a row. Who knows? But if the weather forecast holds true for what it's projected to be, that's going to be one tough ass game. It's making me think of honestly that game last year where it was like 30 mile per hour winds versus New England, and New England literally ran the ball every play and won. Yeah. It might be one of them type games.
Probably will be.
But Cam has this one too. He sent me a tweet that, got some reporter tweeted out the weather forecast, lock in the under. And since then, he sent that to me yesterday afternoon, I want to say. And now the line has moved all the way down to 41. So I don't know if you want to take under 41, but we got it locked in at under 43.5. So that's what we're going to roll with, man.
I still think 41 could hit. It's going to be like a very low scoring game. Like, it's going to be like a 14-7 game. Like it's 7-3. It's going to be a very, very low scoring game. I feel like very, very running type of game. So yeah, my third pick. Let me know if I'm crazy, man. My third pick, I got Broncos negative 2.5 versus Raiders. It's a home game. Raiders trash, man. I'm sorry. Raiders trash.
Both teams are trash. That's the problem. I'm just done betting on the Raiders and the Broncos. The Broncos sold me that first game of the season versus Seattle, never went back. And then the Raiders, after losing to Jeff Saturday last week, and then Derek Carr coming in the post-game press conference and crying. That team
that's how I knew. Like,
the team is done.
Well, Vince Carter, it's over.
It's over.
It's over. It's over.
Yeah, man. I don't know what's going on in that locker room. I don't know what Josh McDaniels has done, but whatever he did, literally he lost the whole locker room 9 games into his first season. And they I don't know if you saw today, they said it was some NFL executive or some that had, insider information, but they were basically saying the Raiders literally can't move off of Josh McDaniel because they don't have the literal cash money too. They don't have enough money to buy him out right now and then hire a new coach. So they're stuck with him for at least the next 2 years.
Damn.
So I mean, if you're a believer in give him some more time, you're gonna get your wish because they can't get rid of him. But I don't know how many players on that current roster want to continue to play for him. So this offseason might get a little wild in Las Vegas, and I would expect after this Derek Carr got to get shipped somewhere else. I would
Gotcha.
think, but I don't know.
Because they should. I'm pretty sure they got a first. They definitely got a first round pick. So I mean, they gonna definitely draft a quarterback. Well, at least they should draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would do, but I think they'll draft a quarterback. They'll have like a top 2, top 3 pick. So
Was that Peyton Pritchard just hit a 3 at the buzzer in this
uh,
Hawks Celtics game? But yeah, man. I mean, I would think the Broncos could win this game. I think I threw it in a teaser. That teaser I sent you earlier. I bet they're over 35.5 because the Broncos have not scored over 17 points in any game this season except the game where they played the Raiders. So I'm thinking they can do that again, especially with the way the Raiders are playing. But I'm also thinking the Raiders will still be able to put up some points and maybe come out with a better fight. And I think the teaser took it to like over 35.5. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And I think the regular spread is like over 41. So I don't know if I'll officially make that a pick, but just the lean or sprinkle, I'm saying like over 41. I think they could hit that. But yeah, I honestly don't know. Them within two teams, the way they're playing, they might both lose at this point.
watching in a tie.
And that would honestly be funny as hell. But yeah, I'm not mad at the pick. I mean, at this point, I would trust Mr. Let's Ride over
That's
whatever the fuck you want to call Derek Carr. But my next pick, man, I was talking about it earlier, kind of hinted at it. Still not a believer, and they're coming off a loss. I got Cowboys -1 versus the Vikings this week, man. I just think that defensive line is going to get after Kirk Cousins. I think Jefferson might still have, a few good spurts here and there, but I don't think he'll have as big of a game as he had this past week. And I think if Kellen Moore is smart and just run the ball and then run play action off of that, Dallas is a better team than Minnesota. They don't have the better record right now, but I think they can bounce back and win. And it's Kirk Cousins versus Black Kirk Cousins. Who gonna be the better Kirk Cousins this weekend? I think Dak can do it. I'm gonna put my faith in him.
Hope so.
But -1, basically pick him. I think Dallas can go in there and get a win. They're gonna need to get a win. If they go to 6-4, their season is officially on the brink, which shouldn't have been the case. But it will be if they lose this game, and I think they're gonna be ready to play and bounce back. So Cowboys -1, -110 odds. Put 1 unit on it, man. Lock it in.
Man, I actually like that one like really, really a lot. I don't got it, but I was gonna add it on. Say, that'd be like my little add-on, but I'm gonna let you have that one. But I still might sprinkle it like, off the page or whatever. But my fourth and final pick. I'm going back to the Steelers, man. Give me some the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nah.
That's mine too. You got a +4.5.
Yeah, I got a yeah. The line dropped for some reason. Like in past couple of hours. 'Cause now it's like at 3.5. But
Oh yeah, I got it.
I got it.
I don't think you can really see it on my screen, but yeah, that's my last pick at the bottom. Steelers +4.5. TJ Watt back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Cincy line still not that great, and they won't have Jamar. Oh yeah,
George Pickens looking good.
I'm still not a believer in Cincinnati either, and that's a tough division game for them. And they need to win this game too if they want their playoff hopes to like not have to be on the brink towards the end of the season. But yeah, at home Pittsburgh +4.5. Mike Tomlin divisional game. Yeah. I'm right there with you, man. +4.5. So. No, hey, we agreed on a lot of these picks, man.
Thanks, nah. We be knowing, bro.
That's good. That's good. And then with all these picks, courtesy, ABC Sportsbook, if y'all haven't already, man, If you want to tell us, go to ABC Sportsbook. The link is in the description of the video. The link is on our Twitter page. Promo code INISP. You already know what it is. A great book. They have this option where when you make your picks and you go view your bet slip, you can go bet on all your picks individually as intended. But then at the bottom, they literally create you a teaser with all the picks together. So based off all my picks this week, I got a nice little teaser at plus 450 odds through a quarter unit on it just to see. But the teaser is Packers and where'd it go? Sorry, I lost it. Let me go back to my thing. Oh, 1 second. I gotta log in. You take the mic for a second. Log me out.
That's
What did I say? But here we go. I got it. But yeah, man. Teaser. 5-team teaser. Bills game under 49.5. So that got boosted even more with that weather. Patriots +3. So even if they lose by a field goal somehow. Raiders, Broncos over 35.5. Cowboys +5. Steelers +10.5. Plus 450 odds, man. I think this could be a banger.
That's beautiful, bro. That's
It's a beautiful ass teaser. Knock on wood, man, but I'm feeling really good, man. I'm feeling really good about this picks this week. It made me feel even better. Cam got the same type picks, and we haven't even discussed them. We get on this podcast, and that's when we first throw our ideas out there, man. But yeah, man, I'll tweet out the teaser too. But if y'all want to sprinkle on that, man, go ahead and do that. But you got to do it courtesy of ABC.
Yeah, I was about to say
Island, you know?
ABC Islands, ain't
Know what I'm saying, man? You got to do it, man. But with all our bets being in, is there any max bet? Or I'm saying again, away from the max bets.
I really like that Browns and Bills under. You feeling that or you not?
And I'm feeling that. Especially with that weather.
Yes, I'm thinking it's gonna be a very, very run heavy game.
It's gonna be a tough ass game in the trenches. I think that game, like you said, it would be like a 14-7. I would say 14-10, but I don't even know if you can really kick field goals in that game. That's literally damn near 3 feet of snow that you're gonna be playing in. That's gonna be tough everywhere. With 30-mile-per-hour winds too. This game gonna be ugly. This might be like a 6-12 type game because both teams gonna have to go for it if they do get a touchdown. So I'm with it. Bills, Browns under 43.5, -115 odds. Max bet. We didn't have a max bet last week because we didn't like really anything for real. But this week we back. We're on the season. We're 7-3 on our max bets, plus 18.75 units. You know what I'm saying? But y'all heard it here first, man. I need a sports pod. Lock of the week, 5-unit max play. Bills, Browns under 43.5 with the weather, man. 30 inches of snow, 30-mile-per-hour winds. I hope nobody scores. I hope it ended the tie 0-0 while we sit back and cash out, man. But it's another episode in the books. Hope y'all enjoyed. NFL Week 10 recap. NFL Week 11 picks. A lot of the same picks going in, so y'all definitely got to tell us on our picks there. Man, knock on wood. Could this be the first week we sweep everything?
I hope so.
Hey, could be.
Yeah,
and if we do, you're going to really hope you tell it if we do, man. But like I said, picks locked in and ready to go, courtesy of ABC Island Sportsbook. You already know what it is. Your kids from the neighborhood knocking on your door, begging the bookies for some more. You know we out, man. You already know what it is.
I need